Hello YouTube, thank you for tuning into my channel. This is Azrael, and in this video I am going to be giving a video response to a question that was left on one of my videos about how to create a servitor. This question came from Sebastian Elena. I hope I am saying this correctly. Anyways, the question goes, how do we know this? How do you know if this is working using a pendulum or any other form of uh, way of finding it out? So here's my reply. So the first part of this question is very obvious. Um, you got to learn how to perform divination. You mentioned pendulum. I do not know anything about you at the moment, so I'm assuming you have tried using a pendulum and know how to get a yes or no answer and how to practice makes perfect, and that it's best to ask, no matter what form of divination you are using, it's always best to ask the same question multiple times, usually an odd number, like 3 or 7, an odd number, or 5. Most of the time people use 3 from what I've encountered anyway. And they go with the majority of, is it 2 to 1 yes, 2 to 1 no, and they go with the majority to say if it's yes or no. If you go into things like tarot reading, of course, tarot cards can give you more of an in-depth answer, but you need to, of course, know how to learn tarot cards. Uh, the outright yes and no answers takes a lot of skill and practice. You've got to um, respect your own intuition on if it's right or not. Um, the more you practice, the more you do it, the more accurate you become. So don't expect just picking up a pendulum randomly from someone who doesn't practice it and expect to get right answers right off the bat most of the time. Even experts have a margin of error because as the information travels from your higher self or intuition or the other side, depending on your philosophy, it still gets channeled through your body. And of course, uh, natural movements, subconscious desires, and conscious uh, preconceptions help throttle the results. So that's why people do it more than one time, up to about 3 or so or more, to gather a baseline and to figure yes or no. And of course, tarot cards helps give you more of an in-depth answer depending on um, how well you are at divining. Then, of course, there's dreams. Um, I have created many thought forms. Um, the first one I ever created with somebody else was my wife. So I got slow answers, but eventually he came to us both in a dream. I mean, just to give you a hint, we were worried about protection of the house and some other things, and we created a very father-like teacher slash protector. And we were on an 80s kick, so we created a character from an 80s TV movie, 80s movie. We won't go into who we created, but uh, that person that Tulpa we created, I meant to say, did appear to us in our dreams the same time, or roughly the same time. With me, I mean, it was in so much detail that he or it was not actually in my dream, but as I was walking, I could look through the trees and shrubbery of that was surrounding me in the dream, and the branches made his face, So, and again, it was very in depth, and his face was everywhere, appearing into the background. So that was telling me that he was definitely there. It was definitely there, performing what we created it in the background, however slowly. And again, this was our first attempt together. Instead of just one mind creating something, we have two minds. And when you have two minds, sometimes it's not on spot, and you can still create it, and you get more energy because you have two people feeding it and whatnot. But that's a different video. So dreams. So when you create it, now I give you a quick rundown. Okay, so after you create the tulpa, the sigil or the whatever you are housing it in is placed in front of you, and you're talking to it like I talk to you, or talk to a real person, or a child talks to their doll, okay, and answers back. Even if you have to answer back for it in your head to get it started, okay, you're talking to it. You treat that item as if it's a real person. You feed it the way you feed it. Give it a little bit of water. The whole 9 yards. But anyways, you set it in front of you, light a candle, address who you are in any way you want. Say, I am Azrael. I have the creator of such and such. Say its name. Created for the purpose and the intention of, say its name and its function. I, as your creator, command and demand that you tell me. And then you give its instructions. So if you want to have it come to you in a dream and tell you what's going on, that's when you tell it. Or if you are in the real world, and you tell me that you are working and you are there. A specific bird that is relevant to your area. Now, obviously, if you are living in a place where there is no woodpeckers, you don't say, I demand you to tell me in the form of a woodpecker. I mean, you can probably see it response in a TV show. You say you flip through the channels, and all of a sudden you see a woodpecker right on the natural channel. That can happen, but try to give it a way to tell you something in the least amount of energy for it to use. If you go through the omen route, okay, where you demand a sighting or something. So starting out dreams is the best, okay, for somebody who doesn't have any divination skill. I don't know what you are capable of, but if you know how to perform the pendulum, yes or no answer, go with that. Ask multiple times in an odd number to try to, go with, again, earlier, like I said, more no's versus more yeses. That gives you the answer. Things like tarot cards, they could do the same thing multiple times. But of course, even in the negative answers where it says no or yes, whatever, take everything into account and put it together like a puzzle to give you a total of yes or a total of no, regardless how many times you do it. Even if you do it just once. All right, even if it's a negative, you might have created it, but it's not going to be able to do its job. Okay, so know your system of divination first. If you do not have a form of divination skilled, built up, best way for new magicians that don't know how to perform divinations would be dreams. Commanding it to come to you in your dream and have it tell you something. And again, if you don't get a solid answer or no dream at all, chances are within a few days of doing this ritual repeatedly, if you still don't get an answer, chances are it didn't take shape and the ritual failed, and you should ritually destroy it, even though you've already created it and didn't know or don't think it created itself. You still ritually destroy it just in case, to be safe. And then do it again. Okay, it's pretty much, for the most part, that simple. My method I use is, after I create it, I feed it for a couple of days, and then I summon it. Now, again, I practice spirit summoning, both human and non-human entities. So I summon my tulpa or usually not in a physical form, but though I have seen them physically, I try to summon them within a crystal ball or a black mirror, and I could see them and I could talk to them, and I'll talk to them directly. Okay, so that's best way for me. Now, I've heard different people doing everything from, and including me, I have done this as well, leaving the body in an astral projection, which can be easy to learn but difficult to master. So it's easy to learn the techniques and have spontaneous out-of-body experiences while you're trying, but to have out-of-body experiences on the regular and then doing that and going to places that you want to do and doing what you want to do, that takes a lot of practice. Some people are better at it than others. Okay, so I hope this answered your question. If not, if it goes in more depth, I will just make another response video, and if not, I'll just answer you in the comments section. So I hope this gave you the information you need. All right, so there's a whole broad spectrum. If you're doing things like You just got to have enough practice in the system of divination you use. If you're not using any kind of system, the best would be omens or dreams, where you command it, basically talk to it, giving it energy, and command it to come to you in your dream or to verify something. I mean, this could be easy as, again, saying, I demand you tell me by giving me this song. Now, don't pick a very popular song that's going to be played on the radio every day. All right, say an obscure song that you liked as a kid or something like that, and for it to be that old and then spontaneously appear on the radio, and pay attention to how it's delivered. Okay, now let's say if it's a I Love Queen, right, and or Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd, let's go with Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd is a monster of a band, very popular. Some of their songs are not as popular as others, and are well over several decades old. So if I'm asking my tulpa, are you working for me to get me extra money, verified that this is working, that you're doing something, all of a sudden within that day or next day I hear Pink Floyd's Money, It's a Gas. Their song Money comes on, which is, again, was a very popular song 30 years ago, but not so popular now, and is more obscure than their other popular music, like The Wall. You have a better chance of verifying it as a form of omen to be interpreted as something. Now, I'm going to do a video about omens and so forth, and I'm working on systems of divination for people to learn off my channel, including tarot cards. I believe I have about 1 or 2 more videos on the minor arcana to give answers, but once you learn the tarot cards, what are positive cards for you and negative cards for you, or what's traditionally positive and what's traditionally negative, you kind of, if you get more negative than positive, then you kind of get your answer, like yes or no. Okay. Again, hope this answered many of your questions. Let me know in the comment section in this new video, not the old video. I'm going to leave this link in the old video so you can come here, but then comment here so I'll easily know where to look. I mean, of course, I might get a notification, but sometimes as I've gotten bigger on my channel, I do not always get notified. So like and comment to make sure that I get your response. Thank you. Bye.